It's your boy MBK and Billy. Welcome to episode 20 of the Cement Boys Reviews. Today we're talking about Bad Boys for Life, which stars Will Smith, Mark Lawrence, Vanessa Hudgens, Andrew Ludwig, Jacob Scipio, and a whole bunch of people. And it is directed by Bilall and Adil, who directed some episodes of Miss Marvel later on and came back to direct Bad Boys Ride or Die. I'm with my co-host Dakota.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? And Bilal, how you doing?
I've been good, man. How you been doing?
I've
Wait,
been
I
doing
ran.
good.
I
I
ran
know
out of
I'm really excited to talk about Bad Boys for Life because, of course, this is the last movie in the technically trilogy before Ride or Die has came out already since we recorded this episode. But before it came out, this was technically a trilogy, which I think a little bit just fun fact before I give the floor back to you. This I think was supposed to be a trilogy. But of course, the success of the box office and the critics and audience, they decided to make another one. But I'll give it back to you, Bilal.
Yeah, man. I think critically this movie did so well to get a fourth film, especially it being unexpectedly coming out January 2020. No one expected this movie to do this well, especially when movie releases are in January and normally are really misses, if that makes sense. But this one was a huge hit in 2020 and probably one of the best movies of 2020 in my opinion. Anyways, man, what are your non-spoiler thoughts on Bad Boys for Life?
So I think the successors, and what is their names again? The directors.
Adil and Bilal.
So Adil and Bilal, there's some great successors to Michael Bay. After the first two movies, of course, this takes place 17 years after Bad Boys 2,
Yeah,
and it was Bad Boys 3 was a long time in production hell because Michael Bay always wanted to do this thing, especially between Transformers and Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. But of course, you know how much it takes for him to make a Transformers movie, as we find out right now from all his past, was it 5 movies I think he has done for the Transformers franchise.
yeah.
So he hasn't had enough time for this Bad Boys 3. And fun fact, these two were supposed to be connected to the upcoming Beverly Hills Cop 4 movie.
Oh yeah.
And they got the offer for Bad Boys 3 and they liked the script a lot better. And I think then Beverly Hills Cop 4 and Martin Lawrence and Will Smith said they were coming back. So, of course, they were so excited to, I think, do this movie with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith coming back
Yeah.
and give their taste of what they could do with this franchise after Michael Bay done, as you guys heard from last week's episode, this terrific sequel to the first Bad Boys. But my thoughts, I really enjoy this movie. I really like how once we just like pick up after these 17 years. Yeah, most of the 17, 16 years after Bad Boys 2. And we could see like an aged Marcus and Mike and how their lives are going and stuff. And especially once we get into the spoiler section of this review, how that definitely will affect this movie, that big old time jump, not only from Bad Boys 2 but also in Mike's past also. And I like they just picked up so good because I think they did a little bit better than what Michael Bay did. Like their action stuff is still like top notch with Michael Bay, but like I think their shots are a little bit better because, like you said,
Mm.
I didn't see a lot of drone shots in this, but I see a lot of good camera work in this. And
Yeah.
it also gives off the bright, vibrant color of Miami, especially night Miami, the way it is now. And I really appreciate that. And I feel like their storytelling fleshes out these characters more than Michael Bay did.
Yeah.
Because especially from Bad Boys 2, which was full action the whole entire time, to this one, there was more storytelling to these characters and with the action. But I really enjoyed this movie. And what are your thoughts, Blow?
Speaking of the storytelling, I must say, Bad Boys 1 and 2 with Michael Bay, you don't really care about the story that much. You care about the action and these characters. But in this film, they really had these great character arcs for Marcus and Mike Lowry that hits you in the feels and you feel more connected to these characters. That's the one thing that I love about Bad Boys for Life is the connection with these characters. Yes, there's funny moments, but there's some really dark moments sprinkled into the story that I really appreciate, which we'll dive into further in the spoilers. But I also, like you said, the action is great. I like how they use the camera for the action sequences. The set pieces feel larger in some aspects of this film. And also really like the soundtrack at Bad Boys for Life, especially with that Big Mill song in the beginning. Um, yeah, man, I think this is like a upgrade from the previous two movies and branches off a stronger storytelling for these characters at the same time.
So, Bilal, with that being said, let's just get right into spoilers because there's a lot to break down in this movie. So, I want to let you go first because just a little spoiler warning, you like this movie a little bit more than I do. So I
Yeah.
want to get your good spoiler like thoughts and like moments that you like in this.
I think the best thing about this film is the opening with the witch that we find out later who the witch is, that
Oh, the
prison
Brahu,
outbreaks. Oh, yeah, but Buha, or what is it? Did I said that wrong?
it's the Bruja.
Bruha. Anyways, I like how that scene opens and justifies the villain right off the bat. And that's something really strong about this film because later on we find out more about these villains. But I like that they get the character of Marno to shoot up Will Smith during the race and really shows that, oh, this character, Mike Lowry, is human. He's not this um bulletproof person that people make him out to be. So you see the perspective of Mike Lowry's anger to get vengeance on this kid that nearly killed him, which is a strong layered performance by Will Smith because he really shows the emotions of Mike Lowry really well. And on the other hand, you have the character of Marcus who wants to lay low and be with his family and retire from this work, especially to see what happens to his partner. But I like that scene where it's them talking and it's like you think the character Mike Larry kind of dies because everyone's tearing up. It zooms into them tearing up, but it was reality Reggie's wedding, you know?
Oh, okay. To be honest with you, when I first watched that, I'm like, did he really die, or are they going to tell the whole story? Then it's like, oh yeah, Reggie got married. Let's go.
Yo, I like that little twist that they did with it. It's like, oh, when I first saw it in theaters, I'm like, oh no, they really kill off Michael Lowry like this,
I
and
saw that
then the
also.
total tone switch of, oh wait, Michael Lowry's alive. He just walks from his wheelchair. It's like, oh, I'm fine, guys. Nothing happened, but him trying to get into this case, and the people around him don't want him on this case, he sort of becomes this rogue and does his work by himself. I mean, we got that cameo with Mandy, played by DJ Khaled, which was hilarious, by the way, in this film. Mike Larry absolutely hitting the hammer on his hand and breaking his hand. I think that was uh, a great way to show a more ruthless and aggressive Mike Larry. But that's my thoughts on the beginning. I just want to lean over towards you a little bit.
So before we get into the Reggie, like when he gets shot and everything, Mike does. I love how the very beginning of this movie give is so reminiscent of the original Bad Boys movie when we
Yeah,
see them going to the hospital
yeah,
to find out Marcus is a pop up.
yeah. Marcus, look at the baby. Look at the baby.
Mike, look at the baby. You know, it's a
Look at
baby. He's like, no, Marcus, no. I
it.
love it when they're doing the seat and Marcus go throw up. Marcus, you burn that throw up. This is
You
some
better
rich
drink it.
leather. You better drink it. I love how they just park the
Oh,
car.
I like
Marcus
the
just
scene
opens the
where
door.
they're um driving by the beach. Are like, sorry, rich white people, we'll pull over later. We're cops too.
I start laughing right there. I'm like, wow. No, but I love it when they pull up to the hospital. Marcus just opens the door, hits the fire hydrant. He's like,
He'll
really? I got you here.
buff out.
You gonna buff out. You gonna pay for that.
Uh, yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of great moments in this movie.
Oh, can we
Yeah.
talk about the escape scene? I
Oh,
love the escape scene. So, to be honest with you, before this movie, because of course this movie came out like I think 2 months before the pandemic went full thing around the America, like the shutdowns and everything.
yeah.
So this is when they started rushing everything on digital afterwards.
Yeah.
They released it out. So Sony put out 10 minutes on YouTube beforehand before they released this on digital and DVD, I think, and everything. Or no, when they released on digital, but they put out 4 10 minutes. You know how they always do now for the first 10 minutes of the movie. And I saw the first 10 minutes before even watching the movie, and it really hooked me because one, we get that scene with Marcus and them in the hospital, right? But we also get the escape scene and find out like who was this character of it because of Isabella. Because we
All
just
right,
know
Isabel.
that it's a setup with a that she's going to be the villain, and we find out later on how she escapes is, of course, what's his Armando?
Yeah, Marno. Yeah, the kid.
Armando is her son, and not only that, she's a badass.
Oh, she is definitely a badass.
Like she is probably one of the prisoners you don't want to fuck with.
Yeah.
It's one of those
Yeah.
prisoners because, of course, you see everybody in like the cleaning area. They're all sharing tables except her. So I think the prisoners, the women prisoners there, of course, not to mess with her.
Yeah. And that's another thing about Bad Boys for Life. I feel like they justified the villains really well and the motives, which was something lacking in Bad Boys 1 and 2.
Do you
And
think
I
that this? Sorry to interrupt you. Do you think this is the best villain in the Bad Boys franchise? These two.
um I think it's on Marno because he's doing the heavy lifting and killings, but Isabella's up there too, yeah.
Like what you were saying, Bill, before.
I was gonna say like the way that they made these villains personal to Mike Lowry. Well, we're going to talk about later, but personal to Mike Lowry in the sense that it hits him the emotional core is something that he did in the past that's haunting him now, which is something really great. And I feel like having a villain that's personal to the main characters is a great ingredient to make a great villain in an action film, which is something that I wish Michael Bay did a little bit of in Bad Boys 1 and 2, but I do appreciate what these guys did with the villains.
And like you said with the villains, I feel like the first villain and Johnny Tapia
Yeah.
and Bad Boys 1 and 2, they were just put there for villains wise.
Yeah.
It was mostly action and stuff, but it's like you said, these directors have made these villains like really personal to the story of not only Mike Lowry, but what happened to them and
Yeah.
how it expands all across this movie, not only from the beginning but all the way to the end. Because it feels like Michael Bay, especially with Bad Boys 2, because the villain in the first one's kind of really unforgivable, but the Johnny Tapia number 2, he was just like put there as like an obstacle course.
Yeah, exactly. And when you look back to Bad Boys 1 or 2, you don't really care about these villains. They're just like, oh, they're just there. Just for they're like different plot devices. Not to be a villain, to be a villain to be personal to these heroes and make their life hell. They're just kind of there as a plot device to move the plot forward, and that's another flaw of the Michael Bay ones. But they're still really fun movies, though. Um, so, what are your thoughts on Amos Wad? Because that was something new into Bad Boys franchise, and I want some of your thoughts on that.
Okay, to be honest, I kind of like it because they're trying to develop these younger people to take over the place of Mike and Marcus when they do retire or, of course, die off. And but the problem is of course they have seen what Mike and Marcus has done all through these years of destruction and stuff, where they have like toned it down and be like, "Oh yeah, we do it strategically. We do the surveillance behind the scenes. We don't go in. They don't got real bullets. They got rubber bullets, which those rubber bullets are badass as fuck though in that
Yeah, they
movie."
are.
Um, I like the team though. Charles Melton is a dickhead in this
I
movie.
know. But like the thing about speaking of Charles Melton, did you feel like in Bad Boys Ride or Die there was like something missing with not having him in Amos Watt? Because they brought back Vanessa Hudgens, they brought back Andrew Ludwig, they brought back the character I forgot the actor's name, but you know the character that Mike had crush on in Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah, I know who
Uh
you're talking about.
yeah,
I forgot her name though. I kind of didn't though. That's the
yeah,
only thing. I think that he was just put in this movie for like conflict with Mike and Marcus
yeah.
because of course is like once you get to Ride or Die, it's like they already have developed that relationship with this Amos. It's Amos, right?
Yeah, Amo, yeah.
Amos team. And so it's like this, it's like they're like developing that relationship. And of course, you always gotta have like he said, "Oh, I'm that one in that group." You always gotta have that little dickhead, the one that bothers you every fucking moment.
I hate the fact that he keeps calling by Michael during the whole movie.
Hello, Michael. He's like, no, no, call me Michael. I'm Mike.
I'm Mike Lowry.
I'm Michael Lowry.
But I like the Andrew Ludwig's character a lot. He's like the big buff guy that's scared to go fight.
And then once we get to the talk about the end, I love that.
Yeah. But I did you wish we got a little more of Vanessa Hudgens because she was like kind of there.
To be honest with you, I kind of wish we got the whole younger crew a little bit more.
Yeah,
I kind of wish we got a little bit of each of like Andrew Ludwig of his character because they gave it too much on the lieutenant of the group a little bit with Mike and Marcus, and I kind of wish they done it because they are put with this crew. And I know this lieutenant knows Mike and Marcus, and especially Mike, really personal. But it's like this is the team that they want to build and probably want to build in franchise later on if they want to, of
yeah.
which they could go a path up after the fourth one. There's many things we can talk, and we're going to talk about in our regular podcast episode coming soon. But that's the only thing I kind of wish because I wish we got more of each of these characters. But you're kind of right with Vanessa Hudgens
Yeah.
because of course she is I think the biggest name out of those three at the time this movie came out because of course she did High School Musical the trilogy and she had some other movies come out.
They did the High School Musical Joe too because
Yeah, I
Vanessa
saw that.
Hudgens was in there. Yeah, yeah, I like that little touch that they did. It shows that these directors do their research with these actors and actresses too, and want sprinkles of Easter eggs on their previous works, which is something really great that they did. That I noticed in Bad Boys for Life.
Can we talk about the scene when they're all getting prepared, start seeing this song,
Oh yeah,
and Michael Marcus is like, no, 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 no,
no, no, no.
you
He
have
messed up the
not earned.
lyrics.
First of all, you had these guys have not earned the right to sing that song, and two, you are fucking up the lyrics.
Yeah, but I mean, the scenes that we got with Vanessa Hudgens, I think she looked like a badass. She did the action well for what she could do during those sex scenes. I just wish we got a little more of her character because I think Kelly is an interesting character in Bad Boys for Life, and it's just kind of awesome to see Vanessa Hudgens do something different in her career because she's been typecast for so long nowadays.
Yeah, because I agree with you because it seems like since she has played Gabriella in High School Musical, it's kind of like you said, she's kind of been typecast. And especially with this movie coming out in 2020, I think it kind of broke the realm of what she can do, and has helped her like prevail in like these past 4 years
Yeah.
in her
Like,
Hollywood career.
yeah. Like, I'm always like, Vanessa Hudgens, like, I think she's a good actress. Just doesn't get the opportunity to show it, if that makes sense, because she always gets similar roles all the time. So,
I kind of wish she would get the Zac Efron treatment right now
yeah.
of like getting the roles kind of like how he did with Iron Claw, and like this, like he gets those Ricky Stick and Nicky roles and stuff like that. But it's like he got the Iron Claw role, and like you said, you have always pushed for him to got the nomination for the Oscar,
Yeah.
and you kind of right, like she needs to get that push through role. But of course, she could be the type of she reads the script and don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point too. So my next question is, what's some of your what's your top three favorite scenes from Bad Boys for Life?
Okay, and we're gonna get some of it's at the very end, so we're gonna get into the really heavy spoilers at the very end. Um, One is let me think. Um, oh, okay, we're gonna go right to the very end. I like the scene of when Isabel finally tells Armando that Mike's his son.
Yeah,
It's so tense in that scene because this is the third movie. This was intended to be the final movie in the trilogy, and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if Marcus is going to die. You don't know if Mike's going to die. And once she tells him that it's his son, what really got me is when she's still going to shoot him, and Armando just steps right in front of him, and he takes the bullet. But he knows he thinks he's not going to get shot. He's trying to talk his mom out of it, and I love that because it kind of like changes perspective. Like, oh, that's my dad. It's not the enemy anymore. This is my dad. It's like, why the hell did you not tell me for the past damn
yeah,
24 years
exactly.
that this is not my dad? The second scene is when he's explaining to Marcus that Armando could be his son.
Yeah,
And he's like, because it's the emotion of when he sees everything, because he goes through the records on the computer, and it's the Isabel, and it's like 6 months after, was 6 months after she was in
I think it
prison,
was 6 months. Yeah,
that she had this son. And Mike knows, and connects his hand. He's like, oh fuck.
yeah, that's my son trying to kill me. That's
It's my son, not that guy's son. And it's the point of like he has like a little panic attack, or like
yeah,
worries, and then he's sitting out there, and Marcus sees him as like, what's wrong with Mike? Because we have never seen Mike panic. Mike is the smooth talking guy. And my favorite part of that scene is when he's like, she taught me everything in the system. And he's like, well, we know how Michael Larry got dressed now. He dressed like a drug dealer.
but I like that scene too because near the end it's like how you fucking witch.
I love that
It's,
too.
and then
Oh, my third
Mike
scene. My
Mike
third
is
scene.
like, of all what I said, that's what you got from.
I love that too. I'm like, but my third scene is after the credits, after that post credit scene, is when Marcus looks over the random guy, and he's like, "You ever fucked a witch with a condom?"
Oh man, yeah.
Or that,
For
or not. Sorry to interrupt you. Or that whole entire plane scene
oh,
when
I
he's
was gonna
like,
talk about that.
"Oh, okay, you can talk about that real quick."
Well, some of my first scenes is when they go after the accountant and he's on drugs, and Marcus is like, "I'm gonna betray this man with my heart." Just hit. It's like Larry's like, is their plan working? It's
He's
like,
like, "One more
no,
time,
yeah.
one more time, one more time."
One more time, get smacked again. And Mike Larry's like, um, my tag team partner tapped out. It's my time now. And then the Amos one comes in, and Marcus is like, I call for backup. I like that sequence a lot. Another sequence I really like in this movie was, remember when they go after the guy and there's like a huge bomb on his head? Marcus like, it's calling to me, Mike.
I remember that shit. That was priceless.
That
He's like,
that was
I need
hilarious.
to touch him, Mike.
I
It's calling to me.
And then the third scene is obviously the airplane scene. We, we fly together, we die together.
The girl looks over at him. It's like, what the fuck?
There's a scene where I don't know how it went. It will make your dick fall off, and then the
Oh,
lady
fuck,
comes.
what was that scene? I remember that
It's like
scene.
I
What the
meant
fuck?
penis.
Oh yeah, when she's like, that's the first time she looks at him. Then that's the next time when she looks at him. Everybody looks at him. We ride to death. We fly together. We die together. Everybody's like,
Uh,
I didn't mean that literally.
I see what you mean there, but I didn't mean it literally. It's something that we say. And another thing about that scene is, um, Marcus saying, "Oh, are you really going to kill your son? I'm gonna put him in a bag," and the guy's reaction
God,
to that. And then Marcus is like, "Give me some seeds." He's like, "Yeah, please go."
then after they argue, Mike's like, dude, you want to switch sheets again? Then we find out later on that scene that I wish they kind of didn't put that scene at the end of the movie right after, like, whoever fucked a witch with a condom before. Oh, another scene about the very end when Marcus looks at Mike, what are you doing? I'm trying to penetrate my son's heart.
No, the scene that gets me every time is where Mike has to give the is this Marcus's son or daughter? It is the
I think
kid,
daughter.
daughter,
Oh, it's his
daughter to
grandson. Are you talking about the grandson when he
yeah,
gives him? Oh
yeah,
yeah, it's his
the
grandson.
grandson,
Little
and
Marcus.
the wife gets angry, and then during the fight scene, well, before the fight scene between Mike and Amarno, a body falls on the car, and then the wife calls, and Mark is like, "How did she know? How did
She
she know?
knows. She always knows.
She knew." But I like that scene a lot, especially with Marcus having the reaction when Mike Lowry gets ass kicked. Um, and I think the dynamics between both characters are there. I mean, Marcus, after him wanting to retire, starts embracing being a cop again, and you really see the perspective change between the characters. Oh my god! Before the counted scene, remember seeing where Marcus said, "We need to stop being bad boys. We gotta be good people."
Good man.
Good man, good man. Who the hell want to sing that song?
Knowing Will Smith saying that, you know, I thought of the guy from Good Burger. But let's go back right into it. Let's talk about the captain scene. God, when I first saw
Oh
that.
my gosh, bro!
Okay,
That
Bilal,
shit
what was
was.
your first reaction to that when you first saw that in the theater?
Bro, I did not expect it to happen. And I'm like, oh, this is a good bonding scene between Will Smith's character Mike Lowry and the captain. And then suddenly he gets shot out of nowhere, which I did not expect the first time. And I'm like, oh shit. And maybe jump because it was kind of a jump scare. And you're like, oh no, they really killed the captain like this. And I'm like, oh, it makes you hate the character of Marno even more. But man, I love the captain so much, so it just really hurted me. And you really get attached to character Howard because deep down he is a hard captain, but he cares about Mike Lowry. He cares about Marcus, and seeing like a scene of like their father figure sort of way get killed like that just hits you in the heartstrings, man.
Because a perfect example is when he tells the MO team or Ames team,
Yeah.
um, he's like, you gotta do this for Mike. He's like, Mike is like my son to me.
Yeah, I mean,
And so when I first watched this, because of course, did you ever rewatch the first two before watching the third?
No.
So I rewatched the first two before I watched this one. When I first watched it back in 2020, and of course, growing up on them, it was me, mom, and dad. We watched this for the first time. Of course, we didn't watch it in the theater. I kind of wish we did, but it was after the pandemic. Unfortunately, got on digital and was watching. And of course, we always knew the relationship of the captain and them. Always funny. They're always close. And like you said, it was a jump scare for us, but it really hits you hard that first time watching, because of course you know what they have all been through. And not only for the characters, but for kind of like you kind of also, because you kind of feel like, you always say how you feel personally with the movies. It's like, for me, I always grew up with Bad Boys movies. So it's like always Mike, Marcus, Captain Howard, all of them. I grew up with them. And I was 20? No. 20. Yeah, I was 20 at the time when I was watching this one. So it hit a little bit hard for the captain to get killed.
Yeah, and especially him being such a funny but likable character at the same time, and did so much for the franchise. It's thing seeing the captain go like that, but it makes the character Mike Lowry question himself. It's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't come back. And seeing that later, Mike Lowry say, oh, I came back and the captain died because of it. Like he takes the blame for it, and it just makes you feel for the character Mike Lowry even further, in that sense.
So was that mostly it for you for Bad Boys, or do you want to talk a little bit more about that ending scene?
Before we go to the ending scene, let's go talk about the party scene. Um,
Are we talking about in the club?
yeah, the club.
I love that scene.
You wait. What's the little thing that Will says about him going to jail? It was something hilarious, but
Yes, when Marcus and Hammond's right beside the guy.
yeah,
Fuck, I forgot. I love that
bro, I
scene.
forgot, dude. I was laughing during that scene so hard too, but um, I like that scene a lot. Like Mike Lowry, he got some drip during that scene. That jacket, that looked cool. That looked fire. Vanessa Hudgens got some drip during that scene too. Um,
Oh, I love what was the lieutenant? He's like, Mike's like, you don't wear
um,
that for a stakeout. You wear that just to wear that.
yeah, exactly. But it leads into a pretty cool action scene. The chase scene, much so had some Fast and Furiousness into it. I like to see where Marcus is like, I don't do violence no more. You know,
I know
and
what you're
then
talking about. I love
and
it.
then Michael Art's like, he knew he was on that bullshit with that. That's God's gift right there. My God, Marcus like, oh really? And start shooting. And then Mike Lowry say, wear glasses. I don't need no glasses, Lowry.
Once we get, I love it when we get to the end and he starts putting the glasses on. He's like, Mike, you right. It looks like HD.
Mike Lowry, it looks like HD.
Well, of course, we get to that scene of like what we're talking about. When Mike shows him with a rubber bullet, he's like, damn, these rubber bullets are good. And they go over there. Mike, Mike, it's calling to me. I need to touch it. He touched it. He's like,
uh,
Marcus, you good? I need to touch it again, Mike.
bro, what's that phrase that Isabella
Pasa
like?
Friggle.
Also, Franco. That scene where that leads to the scene where Marno says that to him during the helicopter. That's when Mike Larry knew that was his son, in my opinion, because he
Yeah,
says it.
okay. Yeah, he kind of got a connection of that. I think he was already kind of thinking it because I think he really started thinking it when he opened the mask when they were fighting.
Yeah.
When the body fell on Marcus's wife's van, you see how he opened the visor and he looked at him in the eyes, and I think he kind of connected a little bit right there.
Yeah.
If he was starting to think about, like you said, once he said that phrase to him, he knew it automatically because he said him and Isabella was the only two that knew that phrase because she came up with it.
Yeah, and I like that thing about Isabella saying, say this phrase before killing Mike Lowry. And it just goes full circle. It's like foreshadowing is so well in this film, man.
But oh, okay, so I didn't know this until after watching the fourth one. The oh no, before we get to that little post credit scene, um, I love it after all the stuff ends and they bring Armando outside and they're calling the cops and Marcus stands over. He's like, "I'm your uncle Marcus. Nice to meet you." I'm like, dude, this dude just tried to kill you now. You're like, Uncle Marcus, what's
bro,
up?
bro. But the thing about it is, Armando Sora had a redemption arc because after Isabella dies, Marcus is about like gets his ass
My
burned
ass
up.
is on fire, Mike.
Um, and you see Mike's hand slipping away, and you're like, "Oh no, Marcus could die!" And then you see
That's the
Armando.
thing.
Yeah,
When I was watching the first time and like everything was lining up to the end, of course, first time watching, you think Marcus is might go and die.
yeah,
And it's like you said, it's the redemption arc of Armando grabs Marcus's hand and pulls him up. But I really it really gets me how Armando gets shot in the shoulder, right?
yeah,
And he's about to die right there. But hell yeah, he's just like his adrenaline clicks
yeah,
in. Let's grab Marcus and everything.
yeah. But the thing about Armando is he's blindly doing this because Isabella is telling him to do this. So that's the thing about Armando that I like. That we're gonna talk about Bad Boys Ride or Die. He has a chance of redemption. He has a chance to be his own character, his own person. That it's going to be something interesting to see later on in the franchise. But let's talk about Andrew Ludwig because I like to see when Mike Lowry's like, you need to start fighting and I'll pay for therapy later.
He's like, you need pay a lot for therapy.
I like that he tackles the little pillar and it falls over.
I saw that. I'm like, okay, first, before that, when he like goes fucking ham at the beginning, he pulls like some John Wick shit. Takes the gun, shoots like 3 or 4
Bro, no,
people up.
no. Yeah, but I forgot to talk about this, man. Before Amos SWAT, you see, like, before Mike Lowry meets Amos SWAT, there's a scene where they play the clip of Mike Lowry getting shot.
And he's over the creator like,
Bro's a tech guy, but couldn't shut off the window with Mike Larry. I was like, oh my gosh, man.
he's like, sorry, we were just watching the video for evidence.
I mean, did we talk about DJ Khaled scene?
Yeah, you talked about something.
I want your thoughts on it.
It was funny, to be honest. I love it. He's like, Mike, you're supposed to be acting like a cop. He's like, I'm not a fucking cop right now.
And then a little bit of meat blood comes on his suit.
Oh yeah, the pork. He's like, you motherfucker. He's like, you just got pork foul my thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, DJ Khaled was hilarious in that, man. We the best music. Another one.
I just wanted him to drop another one, and he never did. I'm like, oh god. No, you know what been so
No
funny?
one believed in us, but God did.
what about if Mike said another one? Just said them one.
I wish it did that, bro. That's such a wasted opportunity now, man.
But let's go into that little post credit scene,
Yeah.
which it kind of sets like they talk about a little bit in Bad Boys 4, and I didn't notice this until watching it again. Of course, Armando's in prison, of course, for not killing, of course, killing all these people, and of course, Captain Howard. And Mike has duties for him to cut down his sentence.
Yeah, excuse me.
And of course, it cuts to black. We think that, of course, we think that. I love how they put a post-credit scene in this. Even though they intended it to be the third film, it's kind of like saying, it's like, oh yeah, if we make enough money, we can actually have a story to lead on with afterwards. And of course, that leads up right to the fourth one. Of course, we were talking about how this all like involves in Bad Boys Ride or Die on our podcast episode. But is that mostly for you, Bilal?
I think so. I don't think I can think about another scene at the moment. I think we talked about everything we did, bro.
Okay. So
How
of
about
course
you?
that's it for me also. So Bilal, take it away and give us our little post stuff.
Oh, our post stuff.
Yeah, kind of like the Rotten Tomato score and everything. I'm gonna be
All
doing the
right,
prediction. I'm
Dakota.
gonna be doing the predictions this week.
You're the guesses. Oh damn, bro. I'll be damn. Let me look it up, bro. All right. What's your guess for the critic score?
Critics, I would say 85.
All right. How about the audience?
Audience 76.
You know what? Critically, it was 76.
What's
Audience
audience?
was 96.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's high, bro. That's hot. That's hot.
And of course now box office. You can just look up on the Wikipedia page. That's what I'm gonna do.
Bad Boys for Life World.
Yeah, worldwide. It will tell you at the bottom of the Wikipedia page. It will have the box office order right there, right below the budget.
All right. What do you think the box office worldwide was? Obviously, the COVID pandemic is a big factor of this one.
534 million.
Oh. It was 424 million. Right there. It still made a lot of money, man.
Okay. Not bad. Of course, I think there was no Oscars for this movie, right?
Obviously not. No.
I don't know. Look it up let's look up because remember this was the year of the pandemic, and that barely anything came out.
No Oscars.
I'm shocked that I didn't get anything like visuals or anything like just sneak in there because there was no movies. Wow. But of course, let's do our rankings real quick. Like our before we do our rating. Let's do our rating. You go first, Bilal. Or you're the host.
I'm coughing right now. My ranked rating is a 5-star for this movie. A perfect balance of humor and personal emotional things I love about this film, and I think it's a perfect Bad Boys movie.
So for me, I gave it 4.5 out of 5.
Nice.
And I'll explain that more why I did that into my ranking. So let's go straight into our Bad Boys ranking because we have watched all 4 of them. So what's your number 4 Bilal?
My number 4 is the OG Bad Boys. I mean, the movie is a solid introduction to the Bad Boys movie. I just don't think the other characters in this movie were the best, and every time they focus on other characters other than the captain, it loses its sauce. And I believe it's because of those other characters not being written as well as Mike and Marcus, and makes that film little. It's still a great movie, but a little inconsistent with it.
So my number four is also the OG Bad Boys. Like you said, this is a great start for the Bad Boys franchise, especially in 1995. My only problem is this is Michael Bay's, I think, first ever movie. So we don't get the bayham like we do. We get action, but it's not like that over the top action. And like you said, there's not a lot of story in this, so the story kind of like bogs it down. And there's a really bad pacing, I think, in this first movie a little bit with it, not enough action and the story with it. But Bilal, what is your number three?
My number three is Bad Boys Ride or Die. I still have it at 4.5. I think it is a great, fantastic Bad Boys film. I love the dynamics between Marcus and Mike Lowry. They do something really different with Ghost characters that I really appreciated, which I won't talk about until spoilers. The action is so creative, especially with the first person shot and the way they did camera work. I think my issue with this movie goes down to the villain being kind of generic in this film.
Okay, my number three, of course, is Bad Boys for Life. Great film, especially the 17 after the 17-year time gap. But my only issue is not enough action at the beginning. Goes into more of a. I like the story type, but they set up the story a little bit too slow. They could have probably speed up the story a little bit faster because that's the thing I think that, and I will talk about this more, that they fixed in number four with the story. They speed it up quick, and I think that's my only thing that bogs down with number three. But what's your number two?
My number two is Bad Boys 2, iconic film. Has some of the funniest scenes ever. Reggie's scene is such a hilarious scene that I could always watch and watch over and over again. And I think this movie works best with Mike and Marcus's dynamics. And I feel like the action is elevated so much further from the first film. You really see that Michael Bay mayhem in this film, and I think Bad Boys 2 is amazing Bad Boys film.
So my number two is Bad Boys Ride or Die, the newest in the franchise. I really enjoyed this movie and the story, what they got with it. It really connects to this one. That's all I'm going to say. For spoiler free. Like you said, the villain's not that great in this, but overall, I really enjoy the soundtrack's absolutely good soundtrack. These past two Bad Boy soundtracks, awesome. But I'm gonna go more in depth when our podcast episode, when we do our podcast episode. But Bilal, what is your number one?
My number one is For Life. First of all, great villains. Amazing story arc for the character of Mike Lowry, and I like the dynamics. Marcus, who wants to retire, but Mike Lowry wants to keep doing this Bad Boys mayhem, and it's a emotional film that hits you in the feels. And I feel like this movie does an excellent job of balancing the humor but balancing the serious moments extremely well. And it's like my favorite Bad Boys film at the moment because of that.
So my number one is Bad Boys Two.
Who
I'm
the
just going.
fuck is Reggie?
So I'm going to say this. I've heard someone say this, and I'm thinking about more and more. This is Michael Bay's magnum opus. This is Star of the Bayham, and a little hot take right now. I need to watch Dark of the Moon. I'm feeling Bad Boys 2 could be better than Dark of the Moon, to be honest with you.
Finally,
I just need to
finally.
watch Dark of the Moon. I need to rewatch Dark of the Moon, but it's starting to settle in that Bad Boys 2 could be better.
I think Bad Boys 2 is Michael Bay's best movie. That's
And
all.
especially once we do the Transformers franchise, we will rank. I'll put that in my Michael Bay ranking. which you guys will enjoy those because I'm gonna go off all of them except the last night. That might be the only one that you guys will hear negativity on me. But of course, Sammy and Blog don't like those as much. The lighter ones, like the last two, but the
Baby,
Bay ones.
Baby Driver. I was supposed to say Baby Driver. I mean,
You mean Bumblebee?
Bumblebee. Yeah, there we go. Now.
Um, I just like you said, the Reggie scene is awesome. There's action that's constantly peak comedy action is in this. Johnny Tapia could probably be the second best villain in this franchise. He's crazy. Like Isabella and Armando is crazy, but in like a good kind of way, a little bit. Like good with the story. But Johnny Tapia is crazy. He's just like it just goes with Michael Bay. And I like that.
Um. All right. I think the best villain is Armando, then
Yes,
Isabella, then Johnny.
Johnny. To be honest with you, I could do the fourth one and third, then the first one last. The
Yeah.
first one was that dude's atrocious. I just don't like him. He reminds me of Hans from Die Hard. I feel like
Yeah.
Michael Bay watched Die Hard and he literally took Hans, watered him down, and put him Bad Boys. But that's all. I really just enjoyed Bad Boys too. And all of these movies could be rewatchable, but the first three I could just pop on at any time
All right.
and rewatch.
So since we've seen all the Bad Boys movies, without spoiling, what's your favorite moments? Like some of your favorite moments in the Bad Boys universe, and mine's the fourth one.
Okay. Ooh, yeah, there's a lot of the fourth one. We're going to talk about that in our podcast episode. But Reggie scene in Bad Boys 2. I love the Reggie scene. The Armando scene with him, Isabella, and Mike. When we find out, Armando finds out that Mike's his son. Not Mike's his father, not Mike's his son. That's the no reverse card that just got pulled out.
The Uno card? Wow, Dakota, you go to pull the Uno card on that one?
Um, oh, what else? I love the beginning of Bad Boys. Where we finally meet, where we first see Mike's and Marcus's reactions to the
Yeah.
cheeseburger in the car.
Oh yeah,
But
that was funny.
besides that, that's mostly it because there's a lot of memorable scenes in Bad Boys 4.
For me is the scene in Bad Boys where when they bring the girl to the apartment and there's
All those photos.
Marcus has pictures like well obviously Marcus she sees a picture of Mike Lowry. It's he's like that's my pawn. It's a cop. Kills me every
You know,
time. Oh,
my
and
name.
the scene in the like in the gun shop. I want some Skittles. Freeze, mother bitches.
I do remember that. Hey, to be honest with you guys, seen that trailer. They do a great job in like recreating that scene in the fourth movie.
Uh, obviously, uh, obviously the Reggie scene. Move out of the way. Shitty, shitty, bang, bang, motherfucker.
Have you ever made love to a man? No.
You want
Do you
to?
want? No, sir.
I'm 15. Motherfucker, you look 30.
Oh, you know that actor was actually 15 at the time.
I know.
Yeah, I just heard watched the interview. Will Smith said that the actor Dennis, which he has only played in these movies. These are the only movies he has done.
No, bro. Bro, what kind of genetics does he have,
Do
bro?
not spoil for the people. But all I'm gonna say is, like you said, like this dude needs to start acting some more stuff because after the fourth one, yes,
Uh,
um,
yeah, but another scene I really like. We talked about this earlier. The plane scene, man. That scene always cracks me up.
the plane scene.
We fly together, we die together.
Oh, yeah. But is that mostly it for you, Bilal?
Yeah, that's it, man.
So, of
I'm a
course,
bad boy.
okay. So, of course, oh, yeah, first of all, guys, Bilal did mention Sammy's not here today, of course, if you guys are not listening and seeing. He's actually, I think he's trying to watch In the Violent Nature of Hitman right now, so, which it kind of pisses me off. He's watching The Violent Nature. I really wanted to see that movie.
Uh-huh.
But he's doing some personal stuff right now.
Yeah.
But he will be back for our episode because he wants to talk about Hitman. Richard Linklater's plays from Glenn Powell. He said he might see Bad Boys, but I'm not sure. But of course, me and Bilal watch The Watchers. We will tell you guys about The Watchers. I'm going to try to watch the Netflix shark movie, which Bilal, you should watch that also. Under Paris. I've been hearing some pretty good things about it from some people. But we're going to be reviewing mostly 3 or 4 movies this upcoming week on the podcast. So it's going to be a low stack podcast with some reviews. We're going to be doing a duos draft, the best duos draft. So we're going to be
Oh,
having a
movie
draft.
duos. Yeah.
Yes, we're going to be doing a movie duos draft. This upcoming podcast episode. So we're going to be talking a lot of good stuff. So if you guys are new here, of course, follow, give us a rating, subscribe, and like this video. If you guys are watching this video, rate us on Apple or Spotify. So, and our review for next week is going to be Inside Out, because Inside Out 2 is going to be releasing that. It will be releasing this Friday because, of course, we're recording this later. So you guys will be getting 3 episodes this week. You'll be getting this, a regular episode, then we're going to get the Inside Out review also before we go see Inside Out 2. But guys, I think that's about it. So when you guys hear me and Bilal next time, it will be with Sammy for the regular podcast episode. So guys, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys next time.
All right. Peace, ABK out.